Every time I thought he wouldn't show up for me, he always has. I'm convinced he's the perfect patient presence that guides, directs, and leads me all the days of my life, providing, healing, restoring all that the enemy tried to destroy and steal.
I don't know, I don't usually get nervous, but I'm kind of a little nervous right now.
No, these are not the lyrics to a new Justin Bieber song. And no, this is not him talking about Diddy either. J Biebs has been sharing some cryptic messages on IG lately, but none of it seems to satisfy people who are waiting for him to talk about Diddy.
It was hard for me being that young and being in the industry and not knowing where to turn, and everyone, telling me they love me and, just turn their back on you in a second.
Justin Bieber is no stranger to challenges, and we're not even talking about becoming a worldwide phenomenon at the age of 13. From battling addiction to fighting depression, the prodigious pop icon has been through some tough times. And while people who were stranger to his story felt like he was just a spoiled kid in the beginning, the recent revelations about his former mentor, Sean Diddy Combs, have forced millions to rethink Bieber's story. And guess what this story is all about? A young man who learned to cope, find peace in his faith, and managed to come through thanks to his family. As the world came crushing down on Diddy, everyone turned to people in his entourage to better understand the relationship dynamics between the disgraced rap mogul and the ones that were closest to him. And Justin Bieber was one of, if not the first person that came to mind. Diddy played a crucial role in Bieber's rise to fame. The Canadian was only 13 when he first met Diddy. The world-renowned producer knew he had a special talent in his hands, so he made sure he used it to its full potential. Bieber became Hollywood's ultimate teenage heartthrob in a couple of years under the influence of his mentor, who introduced this young boy to the glamorous, high-profile lifestyle that comes with stardom. Diddy himself was offering supercars and mansions to his protege, while promising him going but load crazy in wildest party a boy his age could imagine. At the time, no one really knew what was going behind the scenes, and certainly what was happening during said parties. But in light of all the recent revelations, the duo's relationship became one of the hottest topics. Now that we know what we know, Diddy's gifts, promises, and the so-called guidance he provided for Bieber all seem like a part of a bigger plan. A plan to ultimately take advantage of a young boy. It's the reason why this footage is making rounds on social media.
Justin, you ever seen the movie 48 Hours? Right now, he's having 48 hours with Diddy, him and his boy. They're having the times of their lives, like where we hanging out and what we doing. We can't really disclose, but it's definitely a 15-year-old's dream.
And even though very few thought that this was grooming at the time, pretty much no one has any doubt about it now. Probably the saddest thing about the duo's relationship is this. All the hard evidence was out there, right before our eyes.
Starting to act different, huh? You ain't been calling me and hanging out the way we used to hang out.
Well, you try to get in contact with me, through all my, partners and whatnot. Mm-hmm. But you never really got my number, so.
Right. Okay. My number?
When you look back at this and other disturbing footage of the duo, you can't help but think, what would have happened if he could speak up to him at the time? While that's a question we'll never get an answer to, there's this other question that's burning in everyone's minds. Why on earth Bieber is not talking about Diddy? And the answer to that question is somehow even more complicated than the first one, despite the obviously troubling history between the two. And amidst the firestorm that has surrounded Diddy and everyone in his entourage, Justin Bieber somehow still looks unfazed. While the whole world is waiting for him to come up with some sort of a statement regarding the allegations and charges on his former mentor, Bieber seems resolved to keep a low profile. And the way he does that is through distancing himself from the scandal as much as possible while turning inward. In the earliest days of Diddy's downfall, while netizens were constantly talking about Diddy and how he got to be Justin Bieber's mentor, Bieber was not only silent, but he was making conscious decisions on what to share about his life. When people were looking for breadcrumbs that would eventually lead up to Diddy's wrongdoings in the Canadian's life, all he was sharing was things that mattered the most to him, his wife, their newborn, and his close circle of friends. Since Diddy has been put behind bars, Bieber seems to exclusively share things that are helping him go through this challenging time, leaning more and more on his family and spirituality. The Canadian seems to be doing just fine. Time will tell if he'll leave this peaceful mental state behind to talk about all the troubling rumors regarding Diddy and himself. One thing's certain, if he ever does, we'll be here to talk about it in detail.